There is a specific kind of loneliness that does not come from being alone. It shows up when you are surrounded by people, when conversations are happening, when laughter is present, and yet something inside you feels untouched. You are there, but not fully there. You are listening, responding, even smiling, but internally it feels like you are standing slightly apart from the moment. And that is the part that confuses most people, because logically, nothing is missing. People are around, you are included, yet the feeling of separation remains. Most people assume loneliness means lack of connection with others, but what you are experiencing is not the absence of people, it is the absence of internal contact. You are not disconnected from the room, you are disconnected from yourself while inside the room. And that distinction changes everything. When you are around people and still feel alone, it is usually because a part of you is busy managing how you are perceived. You are monitoring your tone, you are adjusting your reactions, you are filtering what you say, you are deciding what version of yourself is acceptable in that moment. And the more effort that goes into that internal management, the less presence you have available for actual connection. This does not mean you are fake. It does not mean you are socially anxious. It means your system learned at some point that being fully expressed around others carries a risk. Maybe it was being misunderstood, maybe it was being judged, maybe it was being dismissed. Whatever the reason, your system adapted. It learned to stay slightly guarded in social spaces. That guard feels like distance, and distance feels like loneliness. What makes this difficult is that from the outside, everything looks fine. You are functioning, you are engaging, you are doing what is expected, but internally, there is a subtle holding back. You are present physically, but emotionally, you are half a step away. Over time, that gap becomes familiar, and familiarity turns into identity. You start believing that this is just how you are. But this feeling is not your personality, it is a pattern, and patterns can be understood. The reason this loneliness feels heavier in groups is because groups amplify self awareness. The more people present, the more your system starts scanning. Am I fitting in? Am I saying the right thing? Am I being seen the right way? That scanning pulls attention away from your own experience. And when attention leaves your internal world for too long, emptiness appears. That emptiness is not because you lack depth, it is because your depth is not being accessed in that moment. The most important thing to understand here is this: you do not feel lonely because people are failing to reach you. You feel lonely because you are not fully inhabiting yourself while around them. And until that changes, no amount of company will remove the separation. Here is where most people get it wrong. They assume the solution is to be more open, more social, more expressive. They push themselves to talk more. They try to be more interesting. They try to show more personality. And that effort only increases the internal gap, because connection does not come from performing yourself better. It comes from feeling safe enough to stop performing altogether. The feeling of being separate in social spaces usually comes from one core belief that operates quietly in the background. If I show too much of myself, something will go wrong. That belief does not always show up as fear. Sometimes it shows up as politeness, sometimes overthinking, sometimes as emotional neutrality. But underneath it, the same message is present. Stay slightly hidden. When you are operating from that place, you are not actually relating to people. You are relating to how you imagine they see you. And that creates a constant internal loop. You speak, you evaluate, you adjust, you speak again. Over time, this loop becomes exhausting, and exhaustion feels like disconnection. This is why even meaningful conversations can still leave you feeling empty, because the words were exchanged, but your nervous system never stood down. It never relaxed into the interaction. It stayed alert, and alertness blocks intimacy. The truth is that closeness does not come from saying the right things. It comes from letting yourself be internally present without editing every response. That presence is subtle. People can feel it immediately. It is the difference between someone who is technically engaged and someone who is emotionally available. If you notice carefully, the moments when you feel least alone are not necessarily the moments when conversation is deep. They are moments when you forget to monitor yourself, when you laugh without checking how it sounds, when you react without evaluating whether it is appropriate, when you allow yourself to be there without managing the outcome. That is not confidence, that is safety. The reason this feels difficult to access is because your system learned that safety in social spaces comes from control, from being composed, from being careful. But control creates distance, and distance creates loneliness. This is also why solitude sometimes feels better than company. When you are alone, you do not have to manage perception. Your system can finally relax. And ironically, that relaxation is what you crave when you are with people too. So the issue is not that you dislike people. The issue is that your system does not yet trust connection enough to fully enter it, and that trust cannot be forced. It has to be rebuilt slowly. If you want to stop feeling separate while around people, the work is not about changing how you interact. It is about changing how safe your system feels while interacting, and that starts internally. The first shift is to notice when you leave yourself in social spaces, the moment you start monitoring how you are coming across, the moment your attention moves from your experience to your image. That is the moment separation begins. Simply noticing it without judgment is powerful because awareness interrupts automation. The second shift is permission, quiet permission, permission to respond imperfectly, permission to pause, permission to not have a polished reaction. Presence returns when pressure reduces, and pressure reduces when you stop demanding that every interaction proves something about you. The third shift is learning to stay connected to your body while around others. This sounds simple, but it matters. Feeling your breath, feeling your posture, feeling your feet on the ground. These anchors keep you inside yourself. When you stay embodied, you stay present, and presence dissolves the invisible wall between you and others. It is also important to understand that not every group will feel connecting, and that is not a failure. Some environments naturally trigger more self-monitoring. Some dynamics activate old patterns. The goal is not to feel deeply connected everywhere. The goal is to stop abandoning yourself wherever you are. When you remain internally present, even quiet interactions feel fuller. Even small exchanges feel real because you are not waiting for the moment to end. You are inhabiting it. Over time, as your system learns that nothing bad happens when you stay present, the sense of separation fades, not dramatically, not all at once, but consistently. You start noticing that you feel more grounded in conversations, more settled, less like an observer, more like a participant. And eventually, something subtle changes. You realize that the loneliness you felt was never about people being distant. It was about you being divided internally. Once that division softens, connection stops being something you chase. It becomes something you allow. That is when being around people no longer feels separate, because you are no longer leaving yourself to belong. Most external progress feels inconsistent because the internal world is untrained. When clarity is unstable, action becomes unstable. When the internal system is scattered, results appear random. My work is focused on changing that foundation. I work with people who want to understand how they operate beneath the surface, how their patterns form, why certain cycles repeat, and how to build internal stability that does not collapse under pressure. Once that internal structure is in place, progress stops feeling forced. It starts unfolding naturally. This is not about pushing harder. It is about operating from a level where effort is directed, not wasted, where decisions are cleaner, where momentum sustains itself instead of constantly needing to be rebuilt. When your internal world is aligned, the external stops being unpredictable. Growth becomes something you can rely on, not something you hope for.
This is the Pranjal Jain, waiting for you to meet your alpha self. Stay consistent. Keep upgrading your internal world. If direction needs adjustment, adjust it with awareness, but keep your grip on the destination. Your alpha self is already waiting for you. Step up now.